Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This is the first, what looks like it'll probably be the first of maybe a series of introductory videos that I'm going to do. Just right here at the tail end of December 2025, just to do a sort of year's worth of, a year's recap. Just to let everyone on the interwebs know what myself and my group of colleagues have been up to recently, and what the last year has done for us, and all of the progress and productivity that has been accomplished in this year. So, getting straight into it, my name is Za, that is Z-A, or potentially even Zaz if you wish, Z-A-Z. This is my magic name that I use as a part of an organization, a sort of loosely defined and unofficial, a non-official, I should say. This is not an official organization. It is a loose, unofficial organization, more of a movement, so to speak, of people who we, at least at this point in our development, are referring to ourselves as the League of Aquarius. And the League of Aquarius, which you'll hear me most often refer to as just Aquarius, is the coven organization. It's the occult or lodge-esque. It's not quite a true magical lodge, but it is a more or less a postmodern folk chaos magic combination lodge that is still quite small, albeit there's not a large number of members currently. But there are people who are members or operate near to members in a number of states around the U.S. But that sort of brings me to the next point and sort of the big point of 2025. We, as a group, Aquarius, encourages, as a movement, it is broadly a part of, or I should say, it is specifically a part of the broader Eresian or Discordian movement, which itself is, I guess you would say, a subtype or subcategory of the chaos magic movement. And specifically our coven of chaos magicians, or as people, of course, can identify how they wish. I personally identify as a chaos witch, which for me is a combination of the terms eclectic witch and chaos magician, a chaotic witch or a chaos witch. But that's me personally. Everyone has their own, everyone in the group has their own definition for what they are and what they do, and everyone is, of course, encouraged to maintain a strong private practice, because it is exactly the power of that practice, the energy of that private practice, that we expect all of our members to bring to the group events. So we're only interested in dedicated practitioners who practice chaos magic every day, or at the very least every week. Hell, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, but I practice surely every single day, and I know a lot of the people who do as well, and those are the most active members. Nonetheless, as a group, League of Aquarius encourages people to maintain their own chaotic magic practice, and at regular times throughout the year, following a solar and lunar calendar structure, we meet together and perform common ceremonial rituals, but without the practice, without the private sphere of influence of each and every person, without the success of every magician in the circle. Basically we can't expect the highest efficacy out of the ritual summonings or ritual banishings or whatever it is that we're doing. Ritual blessings, altar creations, etc., whatever. But the other thing that members are expected to do, but of course, these are members who are the most active, is provide input as to what the goals of the group ought to be. And so 2025 was quite interesting for us, because this was the year we decided, literally on January 1st, to begin an outreach program, or a series of outreach projects, not only designed to, or rather, designed to, yes, but also aimed at just broadly presenting the presence of occult communities and the presence of occult practitioners and general, very, very basic foundational types of knowledge about occult magic and things, and just asking people, basically in our lives, strangers, friends, coworkers, whoever anyone's comfortable speaking to, or, discussing literature or posting on social media or whatever the case may be. But just generally being more vocal and more socially active and present as magicians, and as Wiccans, as pagans, as witches, as whatever the specific term that the practitioner prefers. We just want people to be more visible about their faith and about their practice, and about basically, in no small part, the goal of these outreach projects is to encourage people to seek out and be aware of community, of magical community, occult community, pagan community, Wiccan community, whatever it is that fits your style, fits your community, or I should say your local area. We want to encourage more community engagement. We're, of course, concerned about the social crisis and the identity crises occurring in our society right now in 2025, just broadly all over the world, but especially in the United States. And we want to help people find community by providing opportunities for that community. So if anyone, of course, is interested in learning more about that, please let me know in the comments. I can discuss more of that, but I think it's important at this point to move on to the real meat and potatoes, or I guess the other half, the meat or the potatoes. I guess we'll stick with calling it the meat, shall we? The first part's the potatoes. But we'll move on to the meat of the discussion, which is talking about my personal experience within the Eurasian movement and how 2025 has treated me. And, because I want to allow the story of Aquarius to tell itself. I won't be telling that story here. I'm just going to, tell the story of Z. I'm going to tell the story of Za. Here we go. So, beginning in January, when we decided on the 1st as a group that we were going to begin outreach, it was decided right then and there that I would basically be the head or the chief coordinator or chief orchestrator, chief organizer of the outreach projects. And that's what I have been focused on all year. Alongside, of course, doing my personal work, which is really what I want to talk about. Because not only has the outreach been wonderful, but also difficult, because it's a lot of work to get out and meet people and do stuff. But on the astral plane, that is where the real expansive work has been done. And which is why I have decided to start this channel and at least make a couple videos talking about my work. But just to recap 2025, I incorporated, I have practiced witchcraft and chaos magic to varying degrees, and sigil magic, sigilcraft to varying degrees for a number of years now, but only recently, or I should say in the last year, have become very serious about it. And I would say about 6 months ago, halfway through the year, around June or July-ish, I began incorporating Solomonic, more specifically Goetic spiritual techniques into my chaotic folk craft. And the result of that was surprisingly effective. And at this point, I feel compelled to talk about the consequence of that as of right now, in December of 2025. My work with Goetic entities, and specifically with creative entities within the Goetia, namely Astaroth and Aim, but others as well. This isn't going to be about them, but the work that I did with them has led me to where I am now, which is where I am working. Essentially, I have been granted the title, at least from the astral realm, as a dragon tamer. A dragon tamer. This came as a surprise to me, because I did not necessarily expect dragons to become involved in my practice in any way, but the work with the dragons has been highly exciting. And it's exactly the reason why I'm making this channel. I'm making this channel in order to talk about my experience with the astral dragons. Specifically, the one entity that I have been working with. And there's a few other important characters around that, but the dragon entity that I have met just within the last few months and have been working with and summoning on a regular basis and speaking to on a regular basis is a dragon entity from the astral plane known as Sabassa Gaurym. Sabassa Gaurym. That is Sabassa-Gaurym. Sabassa Gaurym. This is a entity with a dual nature that I will have to discuss the details of at a later time. But the dual nature of this dragon entity, this dragon spirit, is that it manifests as basically as an androgyne, or as a hermaphrodite. It has on one hand, or on one side, a typical Draconian form with a serpentine head and neck, and a set of wings, of course. And the other entity that is connected to this, and I'll get into the specifics shortly, the other entity which I have made contact with is a dragon appearing as a cockatrice. Either as having the typical sort of scaled reptilian dragon appearance, except with the head of a rooster instead of a snake, or conversely, as an entity that shows up with the head of a rooster and a body covered in white feathers. Either way, the serpentine entity is the broadly female or feminine force or personality, and the rooster cockatrice is the broadly masculine entity or personality. However, this being, this dragon, is one it is united in the fact that it manifests as a third entity at times. And quite often, this is how I encounter it. It is as a dragon, regular dragon, but with both heads and necks appearing simultaneously, and occasionally both sets of wings, one skinned or scaled and one feathered. This entity, again, is known as Sabassa Gaurym, and its enchant that I've been using to summon it is Sabassa Gaurym vefa, icar. I will write these words either on the screen or in the description, or actually probably both, let's be honest, so that you can see them and use them for yourself. And since this is just going to be the introductory video, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Call it a cliffhanger, if you will. The next video, I'll go specifically into depth about Sabassa Gaurym. And if anyone, of course, and I'll repeat this then as well, but if anyone is interested or does get in contact with this dragon entity on the astral realm, Sabassa Gaurym, going by either name or both, and appearing in any of those forms I described, please let me know in the comments. I would be very, very, very interested to hear about other people's experiences. This is, of course, when I met this entity, I went right ahead and Googled and found absolutely nothing about an entity, so I believe that this is, it is a type of chaotic entity that I have just met, and I will also, again, this is a cliffhanger, but I will name drop one more entity, that is the entity that I met through the Goetia that now has provided me with this title as a dragon tamer, or dragon mage, and is the one that is teaching me, or instructing me through the astral space to do this, and that is the fair and beautifully dark Queen Lilith. Queen of Dragons, Lilith. Again, I'll talk about Lilith more later, but we will specifically focus on Sabassa Gaurym in the next video. And if anyone does make contact, again, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. If you have any experiences working with Lilith or potentially hearing from her about becoming a dragon tamer or working with dragons yourself, also let me know about that. I've been more or less looking around, digging around on YouTube for content about dragon or draconian magic, and found a few things. Not found a lot, though, so I'd love to hear more about other people's experiences. This is also a big part of the reason why I'm making this video now, is that I also want to talk about my experience with dragons and see if we can't stir up some interest, stir up some intrigue, and make progress together. So thank you so much for listening to the video. Tune in next time. We'll talk more about Sabassa Gaurym and Lilith, and potentially other things like the Goetia, the Arbitel, and the Shem Hamefarash. But for now, chaos reigns. Hail, Eris.